If you're a consistent player of the video game variety, there's a good chance that once you put down the controller of a slower paced game, like Stardew Valley, the next game you pick up will probably be a little bit more fast-paced and energetic and probably have a competitive mode. And if that game happened to be Smash Ultimate, there's a good chance that you've been lured into its online mode that's been built for the sweatiest of gamers. But today, we're going to go into great detail on what ranking systems exactly are, how Smash Ultimate does it horribly wrong, and explain how this mode lost its reputation from the very beginning. Throughout the years, we've seen competitive gaming grow in vastly different ways across multiple different genres of games as well. Depending on the developer's interest in this area of entertainment, some games are generally not as focused on competitive gaming, while others seem to have been shaped with support to develop as an actual esport. And as the results have been massively different depending on each game's success, there's one thing that remains consistent throughout it all: the ranking system, aka the ELO system. This is a primary factor for what determines a player's unique skill level and abilities that is used to sort other gamers with that same level of knowledge and experience. This concept has been established in many first-person shooters, MOBAs, and finally, fighting games. Games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat used point-based systems, sometimes even disguised under specific rank titles, to determine a player's level of expertise in that game. Depending on the outcome of each game, as well as other external factors, such as precision with unique abilities, combos, and even in some cases like Overwatch, factor in eliminations, deaths, ultimate usage, and even the overall performance to the role you play, like if you're a healer, if you're actually healing, is all factored into how steep of an increase or decrease you get when you win or lose a game. So why is Smash Ultimate an imposter throughout all of these games? Well, how do I exactly put this? They don't do any of that at all! The ranking system in Smash Ultimate, in comparison to other games in the industry, in true Nintendo fashion, when it comes to Smash Bros. Stuff at least, half-bakes it in every way possible. Let's explain why. Looking at everything we've covered before, it would make sense as to why specific gamers would enjoy the competitive thrill of any competitive mode over something unranked or casual. Nearly every aspect of a player's game is evaluated by a point distributing system, and although Smash Bros. Ultimate also follows through with that same point-based system, everything is determined by a character-by-character basis, and not specifically one player's overall performance. In Smash Ultimate, the ELO system designates players' scores numerically, and unlike other games that count down from the list of players you're superior over, the numerical system actually goes up the more games you win, in an attempt to create a competitive experience that applauds your higher scores rather than the game telling you who is better than you, to fit the family-friendly experience that Nintendo always had for the game, rather than follow suit with a competitive-based system that would, at the bare minimum, at least let you know who is ahead of you. It's unorthodox to say the least, and as much as I want to say that this is a reliable source for actually determining your skill in Smash, it's far from it. If GSP determines that my overall performance with a character is better than 12 million people, who's to say that out of those 12 million, that there's not one single person who can go up against my day one Lucario? And to make matters worse, this GSP number doesn't even adapt to a real-time system. I could have unwrapped Smash Ultimate out of the package, slapped it in the Switch, went to go online, which would have been free, by the way, some of y'all don't know that, all to clutch a game with my day zero duck hunt spamming trick shot, and be able to claim this new shiny badge called Elite Smash, and to play what Nintendo considers some of the best players in the world. What a crock of shit. But like, why is it a crock of shit? What makes it bad exactly? Well, with no actual way to track players that are actually outnumbering you, there's no sure sign that you're on top of the world in any official manner. Lower ranked players are given an end goal to achieve a higher number after losing out to players that are much better than them. Kinda already unfair, right? But then finally plagued with the determination to reach that number under any means necessary, throwing how to learn all fundamentals and everything about their character out the window. And to make matters even worse, making players that put value on solely winning games to be burnt out from competing in general. Yeah. A competitive mode that burns out competitive gamers. There's no evaluation of combo strings, true combos, nothing that a player that can do correctly whether winning or losing a game is evaluated in terms of that outcome, which is just flat out unhealthy when it comes to focusing on actually improving in Smash. It's bad enough that being fresh meat online automatically is a disservice to people that are just joining, as they could get matched up with quite literally anyone, even Tweak. And once they lose enough games, you can already imagine how bad they feel after losing to that one Zelda that's been farming with Side B and the Tweak game. So, if you're a player, new or established, that has had this similar experience, although you're not entitled to financial compensation, you can at least know that this is not a unique experience just to you. This game's competitive system is total fucking garbage. So, with all of the knowledge that you have now, I hope you can understand just how inaccurate Smash Ultimate's competitive system really is. And although I don't think avoiding online as a whole is the answer to anything, there's still ways you can learn how to be a viable competitor without paying attention to your Smashy Bros credit score. So let's explore those options now. Unfortunately, there's no making up for lost time in terms of fixation on GSP numbers, but you can at least walk away from this video with a better understanding of how to treat it going forward. So, for the beginners, it's best to understand that your potential to improve exceeds further beyond anything that this online mode could really offer you to begin with. Rather than being sad that you lost a game, ask yourself at the end of it, how did you lose the game? Enter online brackets and find a community that will be willing to sit down with you in online arenas and help point out your habits that you might have. For the more experienced player, just try not to get wrapped up on your losses as much. If you're old enough and able to commute to local events, use that as a primary form of practice and sort of use online as a substitute for learning character matchups. And for the love of all things holy, this goes for any player despite the experience. Make sure you're able to have the best connection at all times. And look, I know that's not entirely possible for everybody in every situation. Sometimes you're just restricted to spotty Wi-Fi in your apartment, or your parents are downstairs streaming The Voice at 1080p while you're sitting upstairs with single-digit upload speed. At the end of the day, don't put yourself in situations where you can lag yourself or someone else if you can avoid it. Like entering online tournaments. Don't enter online tournaments if you're lagging all the time.
I will actually break your kneecaps.
But before I resort to violence, I should also recommend that there's tons of guides online, and really all it takes is just changing a couple numbers from their default settings, and things will be running way more smooth than you think they would. But overall, Ultimate players really need to just redefine what success is in Smash Ultimate to begin with. There's a good chance that something might be happening, like you keep falling to the same old tricks online, but that doesn't mean shit when you're finally getting consistent by going to locals and actually asking for advice from people that actually want to help you. And then that's when you finally start becoming a threat in online bracket. No one calls you Wi-Fi warrior anymore. I also find that there's just a lot more substance in offline games in terms of online ones, because online is this experience where you sit down and just play the game, and then once it's over, you move on with your day. Offline, you're able to actually communicate with the person sitting next to you, kicking your ass, but then ask questions that will eventually lead you onto a better path to begin with. But yeah, that's it for the video today. The ranking system in Smash Ultimate lies to you. Don't let that number determine your potential, or even better, your worth. Play to improve. You'll thank me later, hopefully in the comments after you subscribed and rang the bell, so I can eventually have these videos pay for Autumn's treats. Would you like this? You're welcome. She only likes me for my treats.